we have spoken before about the fact that, a lot of voters in the US won't necessarily see all of this debate. They'll see certain moments. Here's one. This is vision of Joe Biden, and part of this is, pretty uncomfortable to look at. Yes, we're talking about an elderly man and his difficulty to walk, but he's having to be helped down some pretty small steps. This will have people thinking, what shape is he in to run the country, the United States? Then, as well, on top of that, there was this early on in the debate, Joe Biden seemingly completely losing his train of thought.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
It was longer than that. It was more painful than that, Victoria. People watching were sort of going, is he just going to stop here?
Yeah, I think it's a really important point and absolutely the key takeaway from tonight. Before going into this debate, 2/3 of Americans said that they didn't think that Biden was up for the job and certainly not up for a second term. And as Simon said at the top, it was really his, opportunity and chance to razzle-dazzle the audience tonight. And he did that in the State of the Union speech earlier this year. And he really defied expectations there and had a really energetic performance that kind of put to bed a lot of the concerns about his age amongst commentators. But now I think it's a little bit different. I think now there are some heads being scratched. A lot of Obama's former advisors had come out saying, we need to have some serious conversations. I think it's really interesting what the implications will be after this.
So, yeah, I don't know, Simon, maybe he was sick, but this is the problem. There's no reason that it will logically, apart from that alleged illness, get any better for Joe Biden. This was something he had a lot of time to prepare for. A campaign is going to be harder than this. It's going to be the next debate off the back of, more campaigning, and it's June. He's got months more to go. Isn't that the problem? This could be as good as it gets.
That could well be the case, Tom, and I'm going to be very curious to see the polling on this. There is a delayed reaction, you're right. Most Americans are secondary consumers of debates. They'll be listening to the readouts, such as the ones we're giving you right now about who met or expectations or not. It's hard to see this getting any better for Joe Biden, right? And so what is it that he can do between now and the next debate? And the one big moment is, A, he's got to reassure his party, get that nomination and give a cracker of a speech, putting this issue, if he possibly can, behind him. Because right now, I'd say I wouldn't quite use the capital P panic, but mild panic in Democratic circles that this Biden, he couldn't close on key issues, on reproductive rights, on January 6th. His age was simply getting in the way. It was plain for everybody to see.
Yeah, so look, to that point, I want our viewers to see this. This is CNN obviously hosted the debate. They had a big discussion afterwards. Listen to these are the comments from 3 Democratic insiders. Now, who are they? We've got David Axelrod. He was close to Biden still. He worked during the Obama administration for the Democrats. There's Kate Bedingfield. She has been an advisor for Joe Biden in this term. She was there not long ago. And also Van Jones, who starts off with, I love Joe Biden. We'll have a listen to what he says afterwards. These are 3 key comments after the debate.
They're going to remember him staring blankly into the camera. They're going to remember him looking down, losing his train of thought. And they're going to remember that everything I thought I knew, but the White House told me don't believe my own eyes, is actually true.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I said, Scott, was if Joe Biden were not the candidate, if there was another candidate, I think Donald Trump would be in deep trouble.
But if I may, that is such a sad state of affairs. Something I was consistently hearing is, what a bad debate in the sense that Donald Trump lied throughout. He misrepresented. He tried to turn away from key points that he should have given answers on and kept deflecting. With any normal, generic Democrat next to him, I don't think he would have won the night. But you put somebody who was suffering from the moment that they got out. It was hard to watch. I had to occasionally look away because it was so uncomfortable.
But we didn't actually get to Van Jones, but he said, I love Joe Biden, but that was painful. That's what it felt like in the newsroom, Simon, Jackman, painful to watch. And I know I've been banging this drum, but how much did this make you think? The debate and the reaction after, including from Democrat insiders, that they're open to whether someone needs to go to Joe Biden or he needs to tap the mat?
It's no one knows how to do that, Tom, is the short answer at this stage of the process. It's never been done before to get this close to a nomination. And I think it's partly why Biden brought the debate on, wanted to have it early, to put this issue to bed. Instead, it's just erupted, right? It is the talking point. 100% agree. Donald Trump had to use the phrase, I didn't have an affair with a porn star. Now, ordinarily, that would be the talking point, right? That one candidate is having to deny these allegations about impropriety and whatnot. Instead, right, and we can talk about how we got here, but instead the conversation is Joe Biden is not up for another 4 years as president. He's clearly an enfeebled older man. And instead of having the conversation about Trump's fitness for office, we're having a conversation about Joe Biden's. And from that perspective, there's no way to sugarcoat it, not a good night for Joe Biden at all.
Donald Trump was particularly awkward on January 6th, I thought. He was asked about respecting the election. He said, if it's a fair election, as Simon said, Victoria, that would have been a standout moment, if not for Joe Biden. On Putin as well, he had some awkward moments, but none of this is going to matter. What do you think on the genuine possibility? And I know, unprecedented, yes, we're saying that again, but can't someone say to Joe Biden, the best thing you can do, the last time the best thing you could do from a Democratic point of view was come in and knock off Donald Trump. The best thing you can do now is stand aside so someone else can.
Yeah, I think that's been a talking point since the primary season. We had a primary season for the Democrats and there were opportunities for alternatives to come forward and to say to Joe Biden, please stand aside. Someone else might have a better chance of winning the election. But he won the primaries. That process has happened. He is set to be confirmed in August. Part of these conversations, this debate was so early and it was designed to, I guess, create enthusiasm around these supporters, and that's sort of backfired. And it happened before the convention. So these two candidates aren't actually officially the candidates yet. So I suppose anything could happen. But Donald Trump hasn't changed. Donald Trump is still Donald Trump. I don't know how commentators are coming out saying, but Trump lied the whole time. I think that's been a talking point since the beginning. And the best thing Biden could have done is just kind of let Trump be Trump. And that was kind of the strategy going into this. But unfortunately for Joe Biden, he couldn't kind of close on those key arguments to show that he is a more viable alternative.
Simon, very quickly, I wonder if the Republican approach might be careful how much you criticise, then they might replace him. Isn't that the biggest fear of the Trump campaign?
I don't know. I just think that would be great from a Republican perspective. It would show how panicked they are. And by the way, that would be a bloodbath inside the Democratic Party, right? And so if you're Donald Trump, this idea that this is the conversation, fantastic. The idea there could be a brokered convention, which is meaning a free-for-all, that there's this mad scramble to, is it Kamala Harris? Do they go to Gavin Newsom? Do they bring in the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer? Like, all of that, if that's the conversation Democrats are having, that is a great day for Donald Trump. He shouldn't be afraid of that. That is a great day. Depends on who they finally settle on, I suppose.
That transaction cost, I guess that's the flip side, though. I mean, can you just transform the contest? It'd be very different, wouldn't it, Victoria? Suddenly a new opponent. These debates would look very different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something that I was thinking before this debate was it's kind of been boring so far. It's 2020 again. It's Trump versus Biden. The primaries were over so quickly, and part of this debate was designed to create a bit more interest, create Americans looking at this election. And I think they're definitely looking now. It would certainly add some colour, but as Simon says, I think it would also add some chaos.
It would. Look, I think you make a good point on transaction costs, Simon. I still think it's better than cruising to a loss, but there's my hot take. I'll end on that, Simon. Always good to get your thoughts, Victoria. Thank you for joining us today. I'm sure we'll have plenty more to say in the lead up to a significant election again in the US.